It's our favorite complete recipe collection filled with mouth-watering homemade dishes featuring breads, breakfasts, appetizers, lunch dinners, and desserts. Get out your measuring cups, mixer, and chopping board. The Home and Backyard Cookbook begins right now. I'm with Jillian Rogers here at Union Cellars, and Jillian, the holidays are upon us, and something that is really fun to drink is mulled wine, and there's just something about it that's cozy and fun, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just the perfect thing to add to your holiday gathering and feast.
Absolutely. So we've come to you to actually teach us how to make a mulled wine.
Sure, absolutely. So mulled wine is, like lots of things in the wine world, very versatile. You can make it to kind of cater to what you're serving, what you want to pair it with. You can make it super sweet. You can make it completely dry. You can kind of choose your flavor profiles and spices that you want to use. Today we're going to share with you one of our favorite recipes that we like to make with our family. And the base of any good mulled wine is a bright, fruity red wine.
Okay.
So we chose to use our Pathfinder. This is a dry red wine. It's a blend of 3 different grapes, Baco Noir, Merlot, and Sangiovese. It has a really bright, fruity, jammy, fruit-forward profile, but it is fermented to dry. So if you're looking to make a dry mulled wine, you could just use this wine in itself and not add any sweetener to it. So once you've added your red wine to your crock pot, next you can choose the level of sweetness you want. So honey is a great sweetener. You could also use maple syrup, simple syrup, anything in syrup form works really well. Add anywhere from 2 to 4 tablespoons, depending on how sweet you'd like it. I like my mulled wine just kind of slightly off dry, a little sweet. So we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of honey. So once you have your honey mixed in, next we're gonna add our spices. So we're gonna throw 3 cinnamon sticks in.
It's really amazing though how that flavor really comes through.
Yeah,
after
absolutely.
it sits in the crock pot for a while.
We're also gonna add 3 star anise.
Okay.
Perfect. And then we're gonna add 6 cloves. Cloves are one of those things that a lot of people kind of choose to leave out, and that's fine as well if you're not into cloves. So there's all of our spices, and then the last thing we're gonna add today is a fresh sliced orange, which just gives it some really fun citrus notes, and also a little bit of natural sweetness as well.
Right.
So you just wanna get some nice thin slices of your orange. Then once you have all of your fruit and sweetener and spices in, depending on how much time you have, you can either choose to do low or high. If you're in a pinch on time, you've got it started a little late, crank it up on high for about 1 to 2 hours, and that's plenty of time to really allow the flavor profiles to all blend together nicely and have the perfect mulled wine ready for your guests.
I love it. This has been so much fun. Now, I just want to point out that, you know, maybe you don't have the time or this isn't your type of thing to put it together like this. You have a solution for that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, holidays are busy, and as much as we like to be the perfect hostess, sometimes it's just not practical. So we have made it easy for you. We have 2 mulled wines available for purchase with beautiful seasonal labels on them. So you could just purchase already pre-made with the mulling spices in it. All you have to do is put it in your crock pot and heat it up, simmer it on the stove for a few minutes, or even just pour it into a mug and microwave it. So we have 2 available. We have our Holiday Cheer, which is a semi-sweet version of a mulled wine. And then we also have our Holiday Joy, which is just a little bit of a sweeter version of that. So perfect gifts for teachers, neighbors, anyone on your list you're not sure what to get. It's the perfect solution.
It really is. Well, thank you so much for having us today. We really appreciate it. It's always a joy to visit Union Cellars. So why don't you tell everybody where you're located and, you know, that you're open for the holidays as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are located just a few miles outside of the town of Lewisburg, in between Lewisburg and Mifflinburg, central Pennsylvania. And we will be open leading up to the holidays, normal hours, 7 days a week, and then closed on Christmas Day. But we'll have lots of days for you to to get in here, stock up on your holiday wines and just bottles of wine for your parties and gift giving this season.
Terrific. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
and we wish you
absolutely.
a very happy holiday
Oh,
season.
good to see you again, Jackie. Thank you.
Thanks, Julie. Well, we are so excited because we're going to bake Christmas cookies. And who doesn't love a good Christmas cookie, right?
I've got a fun one today.
And what are we making?
Okay, so today we are making Norwegian Christmas cookies.
Ooh.
So I'm going to guarantee your friends and family will not have these cookies on their cookie tray.
We like that.
And they're delicious. So
All right.
I think you're gonna love them.
Okay, super. Where do we start?
Okay, so like most cookies and baked goods, we're going to start by getting our butter and sugar mixed together. So here I have some butter. Looks like a lot of butter, but this makes a lot of cookies.
Right.
And then if you want to add the white sugar and the brown sugar,
Okay.
then we're gonna bring in our mixer and we're gonna get the butter and the sugar creamed together.
All right, sounds good. So while you're mixing, these cookies are, you have Norwegian heritage.
Yeah, so I'm half Norwegian. In fact, I just got back from Norway, and this recipe is from my aunt who lives in Norway.
Nice.
This is a recipe she always makes.
I love these kind of traditional recipes.
I know, me too. So now we need to add an egg yolk, but just the yolk, not the white.
There we go.
And I like to just juggle it back and forth to get all that egg white off of there. And we're gonna save that because we need that later.
Okay.
And then we're going to add some molasses. This gives us that nice dark color.
Nice.
And then a little bit of vanilla. We're gonna bring our mixer
Blend that together.
back in.
Ready?
Okay, so in this bowl, we're going to start putting our dry ingredients together. So I have some flour here,
Okay.
just general all-purpose flour. I'm going to add some baking soda and some cinnamon. So the cinnamon, the vanilla.
I love all those flavors together.
I know. I'm just gonna use my spatula to mix those dry ingredients together. And then now we're going to add these to our wet ingredients. So I'm just gonna start by adding some of it, not all of it. We'll incorporate that and then we'll add a little bit more. And you wanna start your mixer on low,
Oh yeah, because
or you'll have a nice big
you'll
flour
have
cloud.
some snow showers.
Snow showers, yes. Do you want to add a little bit more of that dry mixture in here for me, Jackie?
Sure.
Okay, so for the last bit, I'm going to scrape down the sides, and then I'm just going to come in with my hands and get it all together.
Okay. Now we're starting to get that doughy texture.
Right. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna portion this into 6 portions. So each of these portions, we're gonna do 2 per tray. So bring in our cookie tray. If you wanna whisk up that egg white,
Certainly.
get started on that. That's gonna be our glue for our cookies.
All right.
So I'm gonna form these into like an oblong shape. And I just have parchment lined baking sheet. I always like to bake on parchment. So we're looking for kind of like 1/4 inch thick, and these are gonna spread in the oven, maybe like 6 to 7 inches. And I'm just gonna kind of use my fingers to shape them.
So you want ovals?
Yeah, kind of like an oval. And the translation, these are called brun pinner, and the translation from Norwegian is brown sticks.
I love it.
So very fancy.
Yeah.
Show you how to make brown sticks for Christmas. So now I'm gonna take those eggs that you whisked up there, that leftover egg white.
Yep.
And this is going to be the glue. So I'm just going to brush that, just a light coating on the top of each of these. And while I do that, do you want to sprinkle some of this
Sure.
sanding sugar on top?
Absolutely. I love this already.
I know, it's just festive.
It's so like wintry too.
Yeah. And the egg white is just, it's not gonna add any flavor or anything. It's just gonna help that sugar stick and our almonds stick. And then I'm just going to add some sliced almonds to the top there. These are completely optional. Aunt Kirsten always did it, so will I.
Nice.
If you're allergic or you don't like them,
Just leave them off, right?
you can leave them off. Now, because these are so thin, they don't take long in the oven, so we're just gonna pop them in there for maybe about 10 minutes or so. We're gonna keep an eye on them. And as soon as they're done, we're gonna take them out and we're gonna make our brown sticks.
Perfect. They're out of the oven. They cooled a little bit, right?
Yes, we have to let them cool just a little bit, not too much, because we need to be able to trim them.
Okay.
So what I like to do is trim off just the very edge, right? Because we don't want a rounded edge on here. And so you have to taste test, right?
Yes, let's do it now.
Yeah, let's taste
Ready?
it now, right? So good.
Oh, delicious.
So good.
You know what I like about them? They're not like super, super sweet. It's just the perfect sweetness.
And nicely balanced. So actually, when you do it, kind of do it at an angle, because I like to cut them
okay.
at an angle here. So these
This is really delicious.
you just kind of slice them into sticks.
Christina, this was so fun and so unique. And what are they called one more time?
Broon pinners,
Broon
translated to brown sticks.
I love it. And this is available on your website. Give everybody the information for the
Yes,
recipe.
so I call them Norwegian Christmas cookies on my website, but you can find this recipe and hundreds more at www.itisakeeper.com.
Thanks again, and I wish you a very Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Jackie, and God Jul to you.
I love the Norwegian.
Yeah.
Thank you. Enjoying fresh baked goods is the perfect holiday tradition. Here at Gable House Bakery in Mifflinburg, you'll find a mouth-watering array of holiday sweets, all of which you just have to try. Today we're celebrating a German holiday tradition with a very special cookie. Well, we're in the kitchen with Nicole Walter, the owner of Gable House Bakery, and we're very excited today, Nicole, because you're offering us something really special that we've never done before, and it's a traditional thing, right? Tell me about what we're making.
Yeah, we're making Springerle cookies. They are a classic German cookie that's made with a mold of some sort, and it's essentially like a cakey cookie that's then embossed with a traditional like pattern. And they come in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
We happen to use this one, which has 4 different patterns on it, but really there's just gorgeous patterns out there.
Oh, they really are beautiful.
They are, yeah. And they're also anise flavored, which is along that traditional German line.
I'm excited, so
Yes.
let's get started.
Okay, awesome. So we're gonna start with making the dough. It's not too terribly complicated. You do need a mixer
Right.
and then 2 different attachments, both of these, the whisk and the paddle.
All right.
We'll start with the whisk attachments. So our recipe has 6 eggs. You just dump the whole eggs in here.
Right.
And then just crank it on high.
All right.
So you want to beat your eggs until they're kind of a lemon color, kind of like this.
Oh, beautiful.
Kind of like foamy, almost
Yes.
like you'd have on top of a cappuccino or something. So then we just slowly add our sugar, and it's 2 pounds or 6 cups of powdered sugar. It is really good if you sift your sugar first. So you just add a little bit at a time and let it slowly work in there. If you do it too quickly, the issue is that it'll completely take all the air out of your eggs that you just whipped into your eggs.
gotcha.
So you want to take a little bit of time
Gotcha.
and do it a little bit slowly. So all that sugar's in there, and you want that to beat completely in until you can't see any more of that powdered sugar.
All right.
We do also add some lemon zest as well, because that just brightens it a little bit.
Yeah.
And then salt and then baking powder. I have just 1 teaspoon of anise flavoring in there, and we're just going to slowly mix those in.
How many cookies are we going to get from this?
So this batch, I got about 8 dozen,
Oh,
so it
wow.
will do a lot.
Nice.
So I'm just gonna add our softened butter. It's just 1 stick of butter. You want it room temperature, you want it soft, but not melted.
Okay.
So the flour we use for this recipe is actually cake flour. It's 2 pounds of cake flour, and cake flour is often sold in the store in a 2-pound box. So
Right.
it's basically 1 box of cake flour.
Oh, nice.
So before we put this into the recipe, we're actually gonna change to our paddle attachment.
Oh, all right, sounds
Yeah.
good.
All right, so we're gonna add our flour in the very same fashion that we added the sugar. Kind of
Right.
slowly, a little bit at a time, let it mix,
Okay.
and then add a little bit more. What we're going for with this dough is you don't want it to be sticky, but you also don't want it to be stiff. It needs to be like this nice middle ground. So once it gets mostly mixed, I actually dump it out and mix it the rest of the way by hand. I'll just take all that dough out there, and then we'll just kind of press
Gather
it
it
and knead it, kind of like you do a bread dough. It's
Right.
like any cookie dough though, you don't want to overwork it. Okay, so that
looking
gives
really
us,
nice.
Yes, it should be nice and smooth. And you don't want it sticking to your hands. When you press it, you shouldn't come away with any. And that's about right. So we're going to start cutting out our Springerly cookies. This is just some more flour. We call it bench flour because we use it on our bench. And then you're gonna take, I would say like a quarter or a third of your dough. You don't wanna do too much at a time just because you don't wanna overwork it. So we're just gonna pat that there, and it should be nice and smooth. If you notice it's not nice and smooth, just knead it a little more. So we're gonna roll this out to about 3/8 of an inch to 1/2 an inch thick. So once you have your dough, and again, make sure it's not sticky. That's really important.
Yeah.
You're gonna take your mold and you're just gonna dust it with some flour. So you don't want the flour to build up in there, but you need it fully covered and dusted. So then you just take the mold and you press. And you press pretty hard to get that image to imprint on there.
Oh,
so
that-
if you pull it up and you notice that any of the designs aren't right, you can
Yeah.
just gently set it back in. It should pretty much settle back to where it was, and
Yeah.
give it another push.
Now, do you go right through or no? You're not going right through.
You don't go the whole way to the table, but you do press quite hard to get it there.
Okay.
Before you then cut out any more, you actually want to cut these out, because as you put them next to each other, they will actually distort the other cookies because
Oh,
it pushes the
gotcha.
dough. The next part of the process is letting them dry. They can rest anywhere from 2 to 24 hours.
Wow.
So this is a great cookie to, start the day before, let them sit overnight, and then bake the next morning. So these, if I press on them, the design is gonna go away. These I can put a lot of pressure on.
Gotcha.
If you pick them up, you can see they're a little bit wet on the
Yeah,
bottom still.
yes.
But they're dried around the edges. That's
Yeah.
really what you want, because you want them to rise from the bottom and not rise on top.
Oh, okay.
So these would go in the oven then, a low oven, 300 degrees or so, for about 10 to 12 minutes.
So here they are, and they are beautiful.
Thank you. Yes. So what's really neat about Springerly is that they're actually meant to sit for like 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So in like a sealed container, because the flavor intensifies and they also dry out. Not that you can't eat them ahead of time.
Right.
We are a full-service bakery with walk-in hours Wednesday through Saturday, but we also participate in Mifflinburg's Christkindl Market, which is a big deal around here. We love being a part of it,
Yes.
and we make these for the market and actually sell them in an assorted box of German Christmas
Oh,
cookies.
these are just amazing. Why don't you tell us some of the things that are in
Yeah,
here?
so of course we have the Springerly, and we also have Lebkuchen, gingerbread, Zimstern, Mandelbrot, all things you probably don't know what they are, but that's what makes it super fun. We also do kind of a classic cookie assortment. It has like your thumbprint cookies and your peanut butter delights, all those fun things. We have a cookie tray, so they come already like arranged, and all you do is take off the lid, set it out.
And for the kids, we even have something this year.
Yeah, so we are kind of dipping our toes this year into more gingerbread. My mom, of course, did a lot of gingerbread for a lot of years, and so this year we're going to sell some medium-sized gingerbread kits with all your candy. The house is pre-assembled, so
Yeah,
you don't have to.
perfect. Pre-baked, pre-done. I mean,
Yes,
you just
everything.
Have,
You
the
just-
best part is decorating.
That's right. You just get to decorate.
I
So
love
we're
it.
doing that this year as well.
And of course, you have everything on Facebook and Instagram.
Yep, and we have a website as well, gablehousebakery.com.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. We had so much
Yes.
fun today, Nicole, and we wish you a very, very Merry Christmas.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. course, we always want something delicious on our table for the holidays. And Christmas to me is a ham, right?
Yes, it is. Ham is perfect for Christmas.
Yes, and Christina of It's a Keeper has some great recipes for us always, but today she's going to share a very special family recipe, right, Christina?
Yes, this is my family holiday ham. I've had it for 29 years now, right?
Yeah, 20 at least, right?
So this is a pineapple glazed ham. So we're going to start by preparing the pineapple because we're going to cover our ham with some beautiful clove-studded pineapples. So I just use canned pineapple slices. And what I'm going to do is actually pour off the juice because we want to save that. That's going to be part of our glaze for later. We're going to take each of these pineapple slices and we're going to put cloves in them. You actually use whole cloves for this recipe, and they actually just look like little sticks if you've never seen them.
Yeah.
So I do about 6 cloves per pineapple ring, and they just kind of poke right in there. So this is just a half a ham. You could get a whole one, a half, whatever size fits your family. Hams come pre-cooked, so this is cooked and ready to go. What we're gonna do is we're gonna warm it up in the oven. But before we do that, we're going to score it a little bit, and that's gonna allow all our flavors to really get down in and flavor the ham from the inside out. So what you need here is just a sharp knife, the sharper the better, and we're going to cut diagonal slices across, but we're not gonna go very deep. So I'll show you here. We're just gonna run our knife, just the tip of our knife through from side to side all the way down, and then I go maybe about an inch apart. So we're just going to do the same thing, but we're gonna go across in the other direction.
I love that. That gives it that professional look too, doesn't it?
And it's super easy. So the next step with our ham is we're going to put the pineapple rings on top of our ham, and then we're going to put a cherry in the center.
Nice.
Yeah,
Really cute.
Makes it nice and festive. So I have some toothpicks. I like to break them in half just to get the pineapple to stick, and just 2 halves of the toothpicks in there. And if you have a part where it looks like the pineapple ring is gonna fall apart, because they do, just put the toothpick in to hold it in place.
All right, this looks perfect.
Yep, one more step. We're just going to put these maraschino cherries, nothing fancy, just the bright red cherries we all know and love.
Yes.
So I have my oven preheated at 325. So we're gonna put it in there, and you're gonna cook it for about 15 minutes per pound.
Okay.
Like I said, the hams are cooked. We're just trying to heat it all the way through and get these pineapples to turn nice and caramelized. We're just gonna get that into the pan.
That screams Christmas to me.
I know, right? And then we need to add some liquid in here so it cooks in liquid and doesn't dry out.
All right.
So I have a little lemon lime soda. So the sweetness of the soda actually helps offset the saltiness from the ham. So I'm just gonna put maybe a cup or 2 in there.
All right.
And then we're going to cover this with foil and get it in the oven.
All right, sounds good. All right, now it's time for the glaze.
Yes, we're gonna make the glaze. So we're going to start by adding our reserved pineapple juice that we had. And then we're gonna add about 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. So I'm just kinda eyeballing this. And then to that, we're going to add about a tablespoon or so of Dijon mustard. Then we're going to just whisk it together and cook it until it all comes together and starts to thicken up. So it'll take a couple of minutes. And we don't really have to put any salt or pepper in at this point because the ham is salty enough.
Yeah, that's true.
So all this sweetness is just going to counteract that.
Christina, how do we know when it's finished?
Okay, so you can very easily tell. I'm just running my wooden spoon through the glaze, and then if you just draw a line down, you can see how the line stays.
Yep.
And then we're just gonna baste our ham with this for the last maybe 30, 40 minutes or so, and let all that get in there and caramelize in the oven. So before we slice it, I'm just going to remove the pineapples and the cherries, and be careful to get all those toothpicks out that we used to secure it in.
This is perfection. If I've ever seen perfection, this is it right here.
It's a showstopper. You can find this recipe and a lot of other recipes, side dishes and desserts and other ham recipes on my website, itisakeeper.com.
Thank you, Christina, for this recipe and all the recipes throughout the year that you have showed
You're
us.
welcome.
It's always so much fun to visit with you.
It is.
And we wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas.
Same to you. Merry Christmas,
Thanks,
Jackie.
Christina.
You're welcome.
We'll see you next time on the Home and Backyard Cookbook.